Oh my gosh. Social Distortion. That first band I ever saw. San Jose City College. I want to say 1982, original lineup, the Mommy's Little Monster lineup. And I'd never seen a live band before. And my friend, this kid named Joel, he was a skinhead from Santa Cruz. He came down, he goes, yo, dude, Social Distortion, we're going. And I didn't even know what Social Distortion was. I didn't even know. The dude that sold me the tickets to the show, this guy named Craig Ramsey, he was this famous skateboarder that grew up in San Jose. There's no radio. There's no, hey, let's play the record. He sang me the songs, Craig Ramsey. Oh, dude, Mommy's Little Monster, she's not afraid to admit. I'm like, what? Like, okay, all right. He goes, oh, dude, Atom Bomb, TNT. I'm like, dude, I'm in. I buy the ticket. I'm in. Buy the tickets from this kid. He was older. He was going to college at San Jose City College. I just remember Mike Ness came out. He had the eyeliner on. He had the shorts. He had the bondage pit thing. It was so much, and I remember it was so loud, and it was everything that I wanted and needed. Plus punkers everywhere, and the songs. It was the first time ever I saw people roughly my age like singing songs that they wrote that were good. I was just a super fan. Anytime they came through San Jose, I would go to all the shows. When they released, I remember when they got signed to a major label. At this point, they had a new bass player, this guy named John, and I was always at the shows. And when they came through San Jose, I kind of was just like that kid. You know, my band Frontline opened up for Social Distortion a ton of times. I never was close with Mike at all. Like, but over the years, he kind of be like, hey, yeah. Like he kind of like, yeah, I know you, you know? And at that point I was a skater. I had like really like just, you know, I'd wear a baseball cap backwards or bleach blonde hair. I was just like a little skate rat, just full on, just a little punker. And I remember they released their major label record and they came through to do shows in San Jose, and they were doing, I remember they did like, one night in San Jose, and then they were doing the I-Beam up there in San Francisco. And I remember I'm hanging out after the show, and the bass player goes, hey man, Joe, you should cruise up tomorrow. And I'm like, really? And I'd already spent my money to get into this show. He goes, I'll put you on the list. And I didn't even know what that meant. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'll put you on the list, bring some friends. And I'm like, I go, and I had to ask him, I go, John, he was cool. I'm like, dude, what is that? He goes, no, Joe, you'll be on the guest list, bring some friends, I'll get you in, you'll get in for free. I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, bring 2 friends and yourself. I go, really? He goes, can you get a ride up there? I go, absolutely. You know, at this point I was like a freshman in college. I'm like, dude. So as soon as I find out that I got tickets to Social Distortion for free, what do? I throw a rager at my house that night. We are raging. Keg of beer the next day. That keg of beer is still going. I'm like, we're going to San Francisco. We're seeing Social Distortion. I remember we're trying to figure out a ride up there, as you would always do to these type of things. All right, man, who's going to give us a ride? All day long, we're just, you know, dude, Social Distortion tonight. I mean, this is going to be sick. We finally locked down a ride. This chick's gonna drive us up there. She has a big old car. Okay, I don't know who she is, whatever. She comes over. Before I know it, it's like me, this kid named Johnny, this other guy named Miguel, my buddy Kevin, who played in my band Frontline at the time, and the girl that's driving. And before I know it, we're all rolling to San Francisco, just fired up after an afternoon of just, you know, partaking in some adult beverages. And I remember we're driving up, and I'm still rocking the red cup with the beers in the back seat and just that music on. And I remember as we got into San Francisco, I had to take a leak. And I said, yo, pull over. And they're, okay. And they, you know, go off in some industrial area, and I get out of the car. And I don't know about you, but like, have you ever gotten outside in the cold and the coldness sobers you up? Is that like, and I got hit with like, whoa, it's cold. I said, yo, throw me my leather. I have my leather jacket, because every good punker has to have a leather jacket. So I put on my leather jacket. I'm taking a leak out there. And as I'm taking a leak, all of a sudden, you know, and I don't know, I think it probably was God, just like, bro, you've been drinking. Who's driving? Check it out. They've been drinking. And I remember I get into the car, and sure enough, the chick up front's got a red cup. She's been drinking. And we start to get on the road. And I go, hey, are you drinking? You know, yeah, I'm drinking. And I remember she's looking as she's driving. She's looking over her shoulder to talk to me. I'm like, whoa, pay attention. And within a matter of probably 4 minutes after I had taken that leak and got back in the car, now we are back on the 10. We are coming in hot. We are coming in hot to San Francisco, and I on our exit was coming up, and we said, yeah, this is where you get off. And she says, hey, I know how to drive. And she looks back over, she quit telling me how to drive, and we're going 75 miles an hour, and I can see the divider, and all that's going through my head is, oh, this is it. We're going to hit the divider. And I don't know how it happened, but our bass player must have been seeing what was going down, and he reached over the back seat and grabbed the steering wheel as she looked back at me, telling me, hey, don't tell me how to drive. And he grabbed the wheel at the last second so we wouldn't hit the divider head on. And instead, it launched us. We're in the air, car lands, glass everywhere. I'll never forget it. We're sliding down the road. I can see the road going by. I had my leather on, thank God, because all the glass is now hitting my leather jacket, and I'm taking it all to the face. Everyone in the back seat is laying on me. All that it'll take is if I just lay down, I'm going to go through that window and I'm a done deal. And as it's going down the road doing all that, I remember it was lasting so long that I literally said, how long are we going to be sliding? What the fuck? You know, how long? And finally the car comes to a stop and we pile out of it. And I'll never forget my bro, Miguel. He just looks at all of us. He goes, look, I'm sober. You guys got to get out of here. It's going to be way worse when the cops show up. So we just ran. We just bailed. And he's like, I'll deal with this. You guys get out of here. And I remember we're running and we jump down the Ivy, and all of a sudden we're in this random industrial area of San Francisco. We don't know where we are. Everyone gets their breath together and they're like, oh, okay, all right, you good, you good. One of the kids' arms was kind of messed up a little bit, this kid named Johnny. And once we got ourselves together, it was so funny how all of a sudden we just look at each other and we're like, well, we're going to a show, right? We're on the guest list. And we just go. And we show up, huge line out front, band's getting ready to go on, walk up to the front door. What's up? I'm Joe Sib. I'm on the guest list. All right, I see your name here. All right, everybody, show your IDs. Boom, I got mine. Other guy got his. The dude that has the messed up arm doesn't have his ID. This guy named Johnny Shroom. And the guy goes, I don't care, man. No ID, he can't get in. And I start going for the, hey, man. And the guy goes, I don't care who this kid is. I don't care. I go, dude, we've been in an accident. Look at us. We're covered in glass. This guy's arm's bleeding. Just let us in. And he goes, I don't care. You're not getting in the show. So I bolt in there. And I remember I'm going through the venue. And it's like that moment right before the band hits the stage. And Social Distortion at this point is huge. They're massive. And I'm going through the crowd and I'm powering. And I see the backstage. And I go, I'm going to go back there. Like maybe I can find John, the bass player. Maybe he can help me out. And as I power in there, I remember I see the door to Social Distortion's dressing room, and inside there's John, the bass player. There's Mike. He's got the gold top on, the Orange County. I'm like, damn, dude, there he is. And I remember as I look in there, the bass player just looks at me like, dude, I put you on the list, but I know I did not give you all access. Like, how the hell are you back here, And as I walk in there, I'm like, John, dude. And I just, go for the Hail Mary. We got an accident. He's stuck outside. You got to come out. And I remember the tour manager literally takes me by my chest and just goes, get out of here. And he's pushing me out. I'm like, and the door just shuts. And as the door is shutting, a hand stops it and opens it, and it's Mike Ness. He's got the guitar on. He's like, what's the problem? And I'm like, yo, Mike. And I remember at that moment, I'm like, dude, now's not the time to be like a million words. Like I go, bro, Mike, what's up, man? He's like, yeah, what's going on? I go, hey, dude, we got in a car accident on the way up here, and my buddy's stuck outside. We were all on the guest list. John put us on the list. And we're just trying to get in the show, and we got to get a ride back to San Jose, or we're going to get stuck up here. And I didn't, and he's just like, okay. He's like, and I remember he looks at me, and then he looks at the tour manager, and the tour manager's like, Mike, we're getting ready to go on. And Mike just looks at me, and he goes, take me to your friend. And he takes off the guitar, hands it to the tour manager. And now me and Ness are walking through the entire crowd to the front door. And it's like everyone's like, yo, Mike, what's up? He's just like, okay, go. And he's powering all the way to the front with me. We get to the front door. There's the doorman. I'm like, yo, what's up? And the doorman looks at me and I'm like, yo, check it out. Guy's on the list. He doesn't have his ID. And Mike, without missing me, goes, hey man, I'm sorry about that. He goes, this is my family. This is my family. I remember at that moment, I'm like, family? Like, damn, next level. Like, are we hanging on Easter? Are we hanging on Christmas? Is my, I just had this full, he's like, yeah, this is my family, sorry, man. And he's being really, really cool. And the doorman ain't having it, man. He's like, I don't care. No ID. This kid's not getting it. Yeah, well, you can tell, the other guys are on the list. They got their identification. This kid, he's got an accent, man. If you could just let him in, I'd appreciate it very much. He's being very pro. And you're seeing Mike's being professional. He's being cool. And then all of a sudden, it just went from good to bad in a second. Because the doorman says to Ness, I don't give a fuck who you are. This kid ain't getting in. Now get out of my face. It was game on. Ness and this dude, it's going off. And I remember during the chaos, I just grabbed my bro and I go, 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 go. And I get that dude in, Johnny Shroom gets in, my other bro gets in, we bail in. And as we're going in, Ness now is going, like being led out by the tour manager. And I remember he just kind of looks back at me because he totally knew what we did. He's like, yep, boom, got us in, got my boys in, watched the show, found a ride back to San Jose. And got a killer story out of it.